Hi, I'm Andrew Polino, coming to you from the McClatchy, Washington, D.C. Bureau. And today we're going to go over a quick start of the DJI Osmo Plus. Now, DJI is probably best known for making drone camera rigs. What we've got here is a handheld rig, and attached to it are a 4K zoom camera and a 3-pin stabilizer, a gimbal. So basically we're going to use this for any footage that involves a lot of motion. So whether you're on the move, following a parade or a protest, or getting some action footage out the window of a car as it moves along, whatever the case, as long as you need handheld footage that's strong and stable, we're going to be using the Osmo Plus. So let's take this out of the case. Alright, so let's go over the sort of like basic bells and whistles, the buttons and features here of this handheld. Right up here we've got our control panel, and this kind of gives the basic functions that we'll go over in a second. There's the gimbal right here, and the attached camera that, as I said, can shoot anywhere up to 4K video. So, oh, and also want to call attention to this. This is the arm that holds your smartphone, and using the smartphone with this thing and the functions available to you on the DJI Go app is going to be a crucial part of getting the most out of this camera. So we're going to cover the app in more detail on advanced workflow, but for now, we're just going to go over the basics of using the Osmo Plus. So the first thing we want to do is to make sure that it's ready to go, and a few things we'll want to check. First, of course, is the battery. Now, the battery is right here at the bottom of the arm. I'm going to unlock that and take this out. Now, DJI makes its own smart batteries that this thing uses, and you can find replacement ones online for about 25 bucks. Altogether, these things can last for a couple of hours if you have this thing just sort of idling on standby. If you're recording continuously, this will last about an hour. And it'll take about 2 hours or so to fully charge from empty. So we've included a little charging station right here. And you'll know the battery's fully charged when the LED light on the charger stops blinking and just stays at a solid green. So, put this back. Alright, we've got a fully charged battery. We'll lock this back up. And the next thing we want to do before we turn the camera on is make sure that the gimbal is unlocked. Now, the first thing that we don't want to do is play around with this thing right here. This is the securing ring that keeps the gimbal securely attached to the arm. So if you unlock it, the gimbal will pop right off. So it's an easy mistake to make because, I mean, there's a little lock and unlock icon right here on the ring, but we'll want to leave that where it is. What we do want to unlock is the gimbal itself, and there are two important locks here. One controls the arm, which controls panning, which moves the camera left to right, and it's right here at the bottom of the arm. There's a little switch here you can see with a lock picture. What we want to do is flick that on, and that frees up the panning arm to move. And we also want to unlock the tilt motor right here, which is right here at the top. You can just see it's sort of shaped like a C right now because it's in the locked position. What we want to do is sort of snap that so it's sort of like a horizontal claw. When it's in that position, everything's unlocked and ready to go. So we're ready to turn this thing on. The little power button is right here. And when you flick it, it should go right into front and center position. Now, if any parts of the gimbal are still locked, the camera will continue beeping. So if you turn it on and you're hearing a lot of periodic beeps, that's why. You just have to make sure that the gimbal's been fully unlocked. So, with the camera on and ready to go, let's go over the control panel really quickly. We start up here with sort of the controller, the joystick, as it were, and basically move it left to right to pan the camera, and move it up or down to tilt it. And the buttons below are pretty self-explanatory. The small one with the red dot records the video. And and the one right below it is takes care of the still camera. So hit it once to take a snapshot, and hold down on it to take a sequence. And the last button on the control panel, very, very important, not actually on the panel, but on the back of it, where your index finger is resting, is the trigger. And it's important that you know what this does, because it has several different functions. First of all, it controls a little something called lock mode. And basically how that works is, whenever you move the handheld Osmo camera, you'll notice the camera points wherever you are pointing it. But if you want to make sure that the camera is focused on one specific angle and direction, no matter where you move the rest of the rig, you want to hold down the trigger, and the camera stays locked onto a specific point. And it'll do that for as long as you keep your finger holding down on the trigger. So that's lock mode. If you double click, the camera will recenter itself. And find that fairly easy to do. And if you triple click, it enters selfie mode. And it's worth noting that even if you have the camera zoomed all the way out, it still is a very sort of a close range. So if you do put it in selfie mode, you want to make sure that you've got a good distance away. All right, so let's bring it back into center. And that just about takes care of it. One other important thing to keep in mind is that the trigger also controls the zoom of the camera. And it does that with the joystick. So you hold down the trigger as if you're in lock mode, and then use the joystick. Now, instead of tilting the camera, the up and down on the joystick will control the zoom. You'll move up to zoom in, and down to zoom back out. And we'll be taking a look at these functions and plenty more in the DJI Go app, which will connect to the camera, in our next tutorial for advanced workflow. But that takes care of the basics, and this is sort of your introduction to the Osmo Plus kit. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next tutorial.